Hey Nikki, this is Rob Fleming here for your week 3 plus review of one of your two schemes that you're submitting for this week. And a couple things that I thought were really interesting about what you did for this week is number one is the way that you took this kind of very pragmatic scheme that was meant to be that way, and now you've evolved into something using the four perspectives into something that has a lot of potential, I believe. A couple things that you want to think about here, um, starting with the parking. I think you want to look at something a little more squarish, something that could actually allow for traffic to flow. So what ends up happening is you get spots that go like this, you get spots that go like that, and then you get spots that go like this, right? And then you have a turn in here, and you have a come out there. So you might have a little island there, maybe not, maybe. And you could come in, you could park, you could back out, and when you go out, you leave that way. And you could even leave that way, because that's a two-way street. But the entry and exit are pretty separate. I think that's critical for a morning flow. That goes also with the bus drop-off, which is going to be right here. You're going to have to take a lane out of the sidewalk, which means, oh, actually, that is the, right. So what's going to happen there is you're going to have a situation where you're going to have to move the building back a bit. So the same thing over here when you have the car drop off, and I would be generous with that. It could be pretty long, but you're going to have to extend the sidewalk down around that. And what that means is your building now is going to get pushed back to about there. That'll be the boundaries of your building. Unless you can figure out some other drop-off pickup scenario. I mean, some students are bringing this all the way through. However, Kelly's not the best road. You can only really go, which way does that go? You can only go that way coming out, and that takes you in the wrong direction in many cases. So a couple other things about the site that I think are great. I like the idea of the pond. If the pond is going to be used to help refill the bathrooms or support the bathrooms, it may want to be a little closer, or maybe you have a set of cisterns here that are capturing some of the rainwater specifically for those bathrooms. You're probably going to need another set of bathrooms up front, and so we can talk more about that when I get to the floor plans. But the idea that you could be collecting rainwater and somehow celebrating that and creating a line of habitat or of natural elements through here, not like a park, but really more like a habitat, could be very interesting as an architectural gesture, a landscape architectural gesture. And something in here could be happening where that line is kind of connected all the way through as an element. That would be pretty good. You also have a nice condition where your breezes are coming in this way, so that will help with the courtyard. The classrooms are really not going to benefit from breezes in their current location or orientation, but that's okay because you're really looking for solar in this particular case. Also, I know that you have a whole berm action going here. Don't be afraid to put that in graphically because it really helps you understand how the site is going to feel. I would get this to be really solidly planted all around here so you get a sense of the wilderness as it gets more to the edge of the thing, it gets more wilderness. Now, looking at the building, I'm not going to use these plans. I'm going to go on with that. I just wanted to give you a check mark on the sketches here. It looks like there's a lot of thinking going on, and a lot of, I don't know, just a lot of really, oh look, and there's your parking is that way. So I would go back and look at that again. Just in terms of air movement, your classrooms, whenever you do want to get air movement, you want to bring in low and wide, and you really want to go out very, very high and very small. So whenever you draw these arrows, try to think about them more like something like that. And of course, the more cross ventilation you can get, the better. And we know that. Nice sketches, though. Thank you. And by the way, take note that your gym actually has a very high ceiling. So in some of your 3D models, you don't reflect that very clearly. Now, as I said before, we're going to kind of push the building back this way and this way. So one of the things you're going to want to work on is a way to get a really nice set of vestibules here. Maybe this is wider because a lot of people are going to be coming from that direction. So maybe there's a set of vestibules that does that. And maybe it comes in like that. So you definitely want to think about how your air buffers are created. You want to think, as we get into the interiors of the project, how the reception desk is going to be working. I would consider moving the nurse into this grouping of buildings, and I would consider another set of bathrooms, restrooms, I guess is the more polite term there, And maybe maybe they flip with this because we're going to have to get an elevator in. And I think the elevator wants to move there. Right now you got to just have an object of a stair floating there. And I don't know if that's really going to be the thing that can help you. Whoopsie, darn, didn't mean to do that. This stair could be a really wonderful thing if you start to think about it as part of a double height space. It could have a great presence in this double height space and really help to activate that space in a really meaningful way. And this part's double height, if I remember, so that's going to be very helpful. Your corridors are a little unforgiving. Typically, we might bunch doorways and create areas where it gets a little wider. And what can happen is those can be seating areas for the winter time, and then in the summer, maybe all of this opens up and becomes extension of the outdoor space. I do see this as younger kids. I'm going to just put YK. These can be little jungle gyms and swings, etc. It's a little bit more controlled. I think, again, we talked about this being here as a great transition. Certainly wouldn't want to end a beautiful corridor at the end with a bathroom. So these definitely want to move over. And maybe your stair wants to flip with that. So the stair becomes more than just a fire stair. It actually becomes something that's very functional. We talked about the cafeteria. Maybe we get rid of it. Maybe we keep it. The consideration of the west light is significant. You're probably going to want to do something where the west light is blocked and glass is coming in more southwest than west. And certainly you have your solar angles in good shape here. I think this doorway is very useful and very clever of you to put that in because it gives another access to the outdoors. And as I said before, I think you might need some more functional space, maybe here or here, if you're going to have a kitchen. And when I get to the second floor, I'm going to explain why I think that's important. So that's just some quick feedback on the first floor. On the second floor, I'm really liking this idea of the green roof. I think that this is very much a living green roof where you're going to be growing a lot of vegetables and other kinds of raising chickens, perhaps. And what that's going to be requiring is a series of storage sheds or little functional utility buildings that store tools and other materials. And I'm going to dash this line in here to represent the possibility of those sheds holding up another roof, and I'll explain what I think that's for. Not quite sure what this balcony, it looks like you're letting people walk inside and then looking out onto the green roof. Not sure if that's really needed. You could probably just have a set of doors right away that lets you right out onto the roof, so this would all be one continuous roof. But this would be the walking area and probably be made of gravel or something else. And this gets in, if we're going to be growing a lot of food here, and here's my representation of food, and then you have maybe this is a chicken coop up here. Who knows? But you're going to want to get that food downstairs, and maybe the kids are going to eat this food, so you do need some sort of vertical circulation that's not really this or the stair that I'm proposing for here or this stair. You need probably another stair that comes down at that point, but it's good that you have this one here. So from the roof, this would be a door, right? So this egress thing is a little bit messed up. If this stair moves over to here, what'll happen is you can get an egress stair from the roof, and you can have one there, and you have a doorway here. So you do have some egress problems that we'd have to work out. But for right now, at this level, I don't think we have to panic about something like that. So a lot of good things there. The art-music combo, I don't think that's going to work. I would put the music at the end with a nice sound attenuating wall, and also because your music's on the second floor, you're going to need to think about acoustics and how you create that acoustic separation on the first floor because there's a classroom below there. Art seems like it could make sense there. You might want to have more glass coming from the north than on the south, or you may want to move the art room into another area. This is gone now, so this is kind of a nice open area, and people can kind of stand there and look out. Again, same thing with the doorways and collecting around the doorways. Maybe you want to have some places for people to sit and or congregate in the hallway, or maybe not. It's your project. And I think that this double height space has a lot of potential. Now, we talked about the fact that there's going to be some sort of vestibule in there that you'll need to consider, but having a stair that is actively a part of that double height space can be really good. And so I think you need to think about that. I'm going to talk about some lighting of that when I go to the next slide. A couple things here. I kind of finally, now I understand why you're sloping your roof this way for solar. That makes perfect sense. You're probably going to need solar on here. You don't have to have a sloped roof to do solar. This has to be a lot higher because this is going to be your double height gym space. This one does not have to be a lot higher. So you want to think about that, or even if that's there or not. I like the transparency that you're using here. I think you should also do transparency along here to reflect the circulation path. But remember, this is facing due north. So the amount of glass that you want to have facing north is questionable, given the fact that our jet stream has shifted and now heating all of a sudden is becoming very important. And we talked about the rainwater element that kind of moves through here. Could move all the way down through the site. And then at the bottom here, there could be this pond, or the pond moves over here because you've got some bathrooms that are in here at this end that need to be fed water. So that all seems pretty reasonable. And we talked about the parking already. On this one, what I wanted to talk about was the this double height space atrium, and I would again think about having a solid roof with solar, and then think about a row of glass on 4 sides. This would be a clear story situation, so this will be all glass, right? So what will happen? This will be like a beacon, and then you'll have some glass, obviously, on the ground floor. I'm always nervous when things are 100% glass, and this could be some sort of vestibule action here that you'll have to design. But somehow thinking about how to get a lot of light into there without a lot of heat gain and a lot of glare really is your challenge there. And here you did build a roof, which looks pretty good. Again, you don't have to slope the roof for solar. The solar can come, you can mount them on angles if needed. So I think again, and then we talked about this roof's going to be higher, as we talked about, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but overall I think that you've done some good work, and your graphics are extremely clear. For me, it makes it very easy for me. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. So for me, that makes it very clear. Now, what I think those little storage sheds can be useful is they can be architectural elements that create an urban edge along ridge, and maybe there's an edge here along the outdoors here. And what I'm going to do is I'm proposing that you build a trellis across here that will help to define the edge of the building and create a relationship with the city, but then think about solar panels being mounted there. I don't think you have enough roof space for solar right now to get to net zero energy. I think you're going to have to consider roofing the parking and putting solar panels on the roof there. So again, check back with your goals and your benchmarks and your guiding principles. But I think that this scheme has a lot of potential to become a nice building. Could be a really good building depending on how you develop it and how much time you put into it. But I think it's coming along quite well. All right, thank you.